Welcome back to Social Club. Max here from 100% Chelsea. Antonio Conte, I think, was in the crowd at the weekend, casting a watchful gaze over his future football club.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. I think most of us were looking at Chelsea at some point this season thinking, oh, well, a new guy's going to come in and he'll sort out all the problems. But it looks like it could be a bigger job and a big ask for Conte in the summer than some think.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. I mean, one of the main things that needs happening in the summer for me, I don't know if any of you guys would disagree, because obviously he was last season a world-class player. I think Hazard has got to go.
That's an interesting one.
I think that's what we've got to start off with, because obviously the worst thing about Hazard is his attitude is gone. His whole sort of process with playing for the team, he just doesn't want to play for us anymore. His mentality is gone, and once the player's mentality is gone and he doesn't want to play for the team, there's not much you can do.
Do you not think that could be recovered with a new
I don't know. To me, I think he wants to go PSG. Obviously, he swapped shirts with Di Maria at half-time. For me, that speaks.
But that's on Vogue, isn't it? I've seen Balotelli does that every single time. He swaps it with himself.
Yeah, but when you swap, when you swap your shirt with a player from the team that you're heavily linked with, to me, that just that's not right. He doesn't want to play for Chelsea.
I'd be more worried if he was in the club shop getting his name printed. Yeah, I want to be fair, but no, Hazard one's an interesting one, isn't he, boys? You know, he went from being player of the year last year, was sensational, scoring goals for fun. Can't score a goal to save his life. I think he's won this season.
The effort's not in there though. I don't think he's putting the effort in.
But do you reckon it's as simple as that? Does he just not want to play for him?
He doesn't want. He obviously don't want to play for him. Yeah. Not just last season, the season before as well, weren't it? He was unreal. And then this season, how can you go from that to be? You're not injured. There's nothing wrong with you.
It's a mentality.
You know, every game you just see him there. I mean, he's wanting to come off. On the game at the weekend, the cameras caught him. Now I know. Listen, I don't know if it's his daughter or some relative, but he wasn't even watching the game. He was there messing around with her with a lollipop and stuff like that. I mean, his attitude stinks. Yeah. And I think he has to go. You know, but Chelsea are going to have it hard because they haven't got Champions League football. Yes, they got a lot of money, and they can always they got spending power to bring in big players. But some of those real big players, they might say, "Well done, no Champions League. Come back next year if you got it."
I think he's spot on there, and he buys that. There's a potentially different pool. You're just going to have to shop in the summer, because I think the money is an important thing, and that's going to overcome a number of hurdles. Conte's a big name, but is he that top name? I don't know, but
I don't feel like it's going to get any better, to be honest, because the last sort of 13, 15 years since we've had Abramovich in, everything has been done so quickly that we haven't really had time to get that structure. Sort of, most teams have that backbone. For Chelsea, that backbone, as we never had a solid manager, we were always changing manager. So your backbone was always having Arsene Wenger. We never had that. What we had was that whole spine of the team, the Czech, Lampard, sort of Essien, Drogba, JT spine in the team. They would always be there. Anyone could come in and out, but you'd always have that spine to keep the team going. They've got the sort of experience, they've played for the team, they know the team inside and out. Now we don't have that. All we have left is JC, and he's on his way out. Yeah. And from there, I think the only thing that you could really do is bring the youth in, but because youth haven't really been given as much of a chance as they should this season, if they are to come in next year without someone like JT, it's going to be twice as difficult.
You've got like 54 players out on loan.
That's
you
the thing.
Bring some of them in, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, I think for me the biggest problem Chelsea can have to face is that, and they've not really had that in the Abramovich era.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You go to a summer and you go, right, we'll have you.
Yeah.
We'll have you. How much? It doesn't matter. How much do you want? And the guy goes, well, to be fair, Chelsea, Man City are offering me the same.
We've had the
Man
short
United,
term. Yeah. We've gone for the short term option the whole time for these 15 years, and it's caught up with us. It's caught up. So I really don't see. That's it.
I can't feel.
I feel like if we are to get back up there, it's not going to be as quick as next season. I think the best we can hope for next year is sort of challenging for top four.
So I mean, do you see a number? Do you see it like a 5? How many players do you think Chelsea need this summer to challenge for Champions League football again next year?
It's tough to say because obviously, not just Chelsea, the Premier League itself, I think next season is going to be a much less attractive league to play in. Because obviously it's great that Leicester are winning the league, It's great that they're doing that. It's entertaining, but the quality of the league, it's been awful this year. The quality has just completely dropped. It's been a bad year for the Premier League in the sense that all these top teams such as Liverpool, for example, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, haven't been challenging to the point where they should, which globally it has brought down the sort of...
Paddy, does that make it a bad league? You disagree?
I think it's been a bad year.
I think people are caught up on you can only have 3 big teams that are going for the league, otherwise your league not strong. I think it's the exact opposite. I think the league got stronger. It'll never return to a top 4. You need to forget that. That's done.
Yeah.
Because these teams are all getting 150 million this summer off the TV. It's done. So therefore, it's gonna, instead of having 3, 4, 5 teams, you know, you 3 have been spoiled. The Sky 4 have been spoiled because
Sky 4.
That's what it was. It was Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea.
How much more money we would get than anybody else?
That was what it was, yeah. And now everyone else is getting a share of that.
It's been
pot,
passed down
and
the league
that's
now
why
as well,
you
isn't
like
it?
your West Ham are doing great. Southampton, you know, they've sold half the team to Liverpool and they're still up there. You know, other teams are getting that money. It will change. I think you listen. Talk, Robbie. I think you. I honestly think Chelsea will be back up there next year, challenging. I think Conte's a good
As quick
manager.
as next year?
He will get. I don't think that.
I don't want to sound like a pessimist or anything like that, but I
you
really
are.
don't think...
You've got Diego Costa who knows where they're net. You get organised. Hazard could have a chat with Conte and it could flip back on a coin.
The good thing about Conte as well, he's known for not taking any rubbish from nobody. He's a very sort of strict manager. He's shown that in Italy, he's shown that at Juve, and that could work. A little bit of sort of tough love.
He could go in and get Vidal,
Yeah.
someone like that. You know, those kind of Pogba.
There's big
you
names
don't know.
linked.
You go in and go.
Pogba's not going to come to Chelsea with no Champions League.
Listen, you know what? People go on about Champions League
Money
as
talks.
if it's the thing. It's about
But
that.
they're getting money already, these players.
About
True, but the thing
level.
again, it depends on
And it's London.
but it's mentality, isn't it? Because and it's been invested in a project. There was a great like Jurgen Klopp said the other week about people saying about Champions League, and he said, "I'm not interested in players who want to jump on the train. I'm interested in players who want to help push to get it started."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, if you're saying to me, "Oh, you've not got Champions League football," then I won't talk to you. Yeah, and you're right that maybe that does preclude certain players, and I think that could be an issue for Chelsea.
I
who
think
historically use money plus Champions League plus being able to challenge as a selling point.
So are you going to write Liverpool off then for the top 4 next season? Because they own
Of course
unless
not.
they may win the Europa League.
Of course I'm not going to write them off for
so
the
there you go.
for the
So you
top
can't
4.
write Chelsea up. You couldn't write off
I'm not writing
West
off
Ham.
Chelsea.
And it's all the same. You can't say players won't come just because of Champions League.
No, what I'm saying is this, right? So the example you'll say with Paul Pogba, yeah? If Chelsea goes to Paul Pogba and they'll have the money and resources, we know that, to buy Pogba, right? And they're starting to negotiate, right? PSG or any other Man City, and they can come along and say, well, hold on a minute.
The thing with
We'll
Pogba
give
is
you
as
the
well,
same amount of money plus Champions League.
Apparently,
And this
Go
is...
on, Matt.
yeah.
Go
I
on.
want to go to
Lads, you pull your hood up.
Apparently, we did put a bid in for Paul Pogba last season. It was around sort of like 80 mil from what I know, but it was rejected. And that was obviously after we had won the league. We had Champions League football that year. I don't know. I think
It's one of those. I think there's going to be a lot of options. This summer's going to be a mad one, and the top 4 is going to be in flux again. The traditional top 4 because there's good. Leicester are going to be in a similar position to Liverpool a couple of seasons ago in that. Will they be considered? They will be considered a flash in the pan no matter what. Even if they were to win every game between now and the end of the season, people will still go, I don't think they'll do it again next year because it's just how we're wired. You know, Spurs will they be able to offer the consistency of staying up there because they haven't done that. They've never consistently challenged in the top 4. Man City have got a new manager coming in. They're going to be ripping out the core of that side, the older players, and starting again. Chelsea have got a new manager. They're going to be doing a very similar thing. Man United could have a new manager. Going to be doing exactly the same thing. So there's no guarantees.
Arsenal win it then, won't they?
Arsenal could.
Can I just say something? I don't agree, Baz, with what you're saying there about the top 4.
That was like 10 minutes ago. We've moved on since then.
No, we thought about the top 4. That's dead. I'm sorry. I think next
there will
year
be a top 4.
I think next year a lot of those traditional teams that are always sort of, you know, Man United, they may return because no matter how much money certain clubs have got, right? If Manchester United come for a player and Stoke are going for the same player, they're going to want to go to Man United.
But what I'm saying to you here is this year's proven it, hasn't it? That it can. If you get your Leicester City, this time last year, were just about to secure Premier League football.
Yeah.
12 months later, they're just about to lift the Premier League title.
And I think a lot of, I think a lot of that. I really respect what Leicester have done, but I think a lot of that's down to the arrogance of the so-called top four. With Man United, were very arrogant. Arsenal, extremely arrogant. Arsene Wenger thinking that he didn't even need to buy an outfield player. Yeah. Right. You know, Liverpool were arrogant. Right, you know, Manchester City were arrogant that they could just change the manager in the middle of the season, and we'll say, you know, there was a lot of really bad decisions and arrogance that went on. Chelsea imploded.
I think the point is,
sorry, Paul, put your head up, mate. Right, right. Lots of these teams now, I think that they're going to learn a serious lesson from this season. And they're going to get their act together.
Maybe that's a possibility, but the point is, sitting here right now, based on what we've seen this season, it could well just level itself out again. But what I'm saying there is, who of the teams, in the top teams, are... There's no nailed on teams anymore because there's too many variables, there's too many new managers, there's too many old players at the big teams. You can say, well, they've got the money to do it, and they probably will do it, but you're right as well. Now you've got West Ham are in a very good position to make that jump up. Yeah. Liverpool are going to be in a position to make that jump up. You could even have a club, as you say, like a Southampton or whatever, who are not going to be a million miles away. There's a chance that you could actually have 8 teams.
I think depending on what we do. Because you just named our team and said it's as good as anything. If Everton have 3 or 4, why aren't Everton in there? Yeah. So you got what I'm saying to you is it could go back, but I don't look at them teams near the top and go, they're so much better than everybody
but let's
else.
Just get it.
The minute they get it right, it's sorted.
That point you made about the spine of your team going. Yeah, I think
that's where the answer is.
That is, you know, like you said, Terry, Lampard, those guys were the mainstay, you know, of that team, and without them. You know, you can see.
He could go and bring. He's got Courtois, who's a brilliant goalie. They bring in a good centre half. They bring in a centre.
I think you're right. In terms of Chelsea, have got the goalkeepers sorted, and if Costa can stay fit for the full season, I think you've got your 20 goal a season centre forward. Definitely. It's just a question of, is Fabregas the man to build the middle of your midfield around?
Well, I don't know if you saw him. Me and Robbie were talking about it. Loftus-Cheek. He looks for me player. Is quality, but they're just not getting enough chances. You've got Loftus-Cheek, you've got Kennedy, you should be getting more. You've got Traore, who looks like a very, very good striker, especially for the future. Then you've got Ake out on loan, who has been one of the best fullbacks in the league this season, arguably. There's obviously countless other players out on loan that we do need to sort of get rid of some of them. But we've got a few players that can come in. We just need to give them the opportunity rather than going for that short-term option that we have done and just going out into the transfer window.
So it's as much about... Yeah.
For example, rather than bringing up someone like Bamford or Solanke, who got 42 league goals last season, we bring in Falcao just because he's got Premier League experience, even though he was woeful at United. Yeah. Things like that need to stop happening.
So this is the opportunity for Chelsea to kind of to put that infrastructure in place.
And I feel like midway through the season, when we knew that there was not much to play for, because we were obviously 16th place after getting rid of Mourinho, we should have sort of done what United have done this season and trying to take a positive out of the season, such as bringing up youth players. Obviously, United realistically haven't had the best of seasons. They're going to look at it like that. Obviously, Liverpool, you're in the Europa League, City are in the Champions League. United aren't in a very good place. They're not going to be enjoying that. But they have some players who have come up and have proved that they are very good by promoting youth. You've got Rashford, you've got Borthwick Jackson,
Fossa Mensah.
And I feel like we should have done that realistically.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So there you go. What do you think Chelsea need to do to rebuild in the summer? Let us know some player suggestions and what have you in the comments below. Subscribe to 100% Chelsea for more great Chelsea content as well.